Hello, welcome to Care Knits Socks. My name is Care and I'm coming to you from Ontario, Canada, where I live with my husband, our son, and our petting zoo of family. We have 3 dogs and 2 cats. It has been over a year since I was here. It's been a whirlwind. Last time you saw me, I was just finishing up my maternity leave. So in January, I went back to work full time. My son started daycare full time. He turned 1. It was the peak of sickness season. We were in and out of the emergency room many times over the winter. And knitting was the last thing on my mind, let alone recording videos. But we are here. I am here now. And I've got my iced coffee, and I hope you have a little beverage and we can catch up. So I got a new phone since the last time you saw me, so I hope that it's going well, like it's gonna record as well as the other one did. And please don't mind my personal calendar of events over here. Okay. I don't have any show notes because I'm kind of just doing this impulsively today. So I'm just gonna wing it and hope for the best. I did gather up my yarny things. Oh, I forgot one other thing. Hold please. Okay, now I think I have everything I want to talk about. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Care Knits Socks. And let's get started. So the first thing I want to chat about is my recently finished objects. So one thing about me, 2025 is the year I lost my sock mojo. I just finished my 4th pair of socks for the year, so it hasn't been a sock heavy knitting year, which makes me a bit sad, but it's coming back. We're getting into it. So anyway, I'll show you the pair that I finished recently. So these are, couldn't even tell you what the yarn is. I will write it on the screen. I bought the yarn in May 2024, and it's the kind of yarn that creates two identical socks, like when you pull from the middle. And I made these for my fiance slash husband. I call him my husband, but we're not married. He really likes flashy colored socks. These aren't like super flashy by any means, but they're colorful. For him, I cast on 72 stitches on my 2.25 needles. I usually knit socks on DPNs because the other types of methods hurt my wrists. 72 stitches, and then he likes a 15 row cuff of 2x2 ribbing and 60 rounds for the leg. And yeah, I'm gonna gift these to him at Christmas. He's seen me working on them. He's probably watching this video. But I didn't tell him that they were for him. So anyway, those are that. And then my most recently finished socks are these that are on blockers because I'm such a professional. No, it's because they are like ribbed socks and they look much better on a blocker than just hanging loosely. So the pattern is the Serene Socks by 3 by the Sea Designs. And this yarn is Regia Wellness or something like that. No, that's the name of the color, maybe, is Wellness. But it's like a rustic, Regia yarn. And I made these for my mom. So I'm going to gift these to her for Christmas. And I actually, okay, so these I knit 64 stitches. And I did them on magic loop because of the pattern that was just on at the front. It was much easier to manage on magic loop than on DPNs. And for her, I did 20 rounds of a cuff, 2x2 cuff, and slip stitch heel flap, which is what I do for all of my socks. Is that all I have to say about these? I think I also did 60 rounds for the leg. And these I started in January, and I just finished them this weekend, or maybe the end of last week, which tells me I won't be making patterned socks anytime soon. I'm a vanilla sock girly. Anyway, so that's pair number 4. Pair of socks. Yeah, my 4th pair of socks done in 2025. I'm hoping to get to 5 pairs done. My other recently finished, okay, it's not that recent, it was in June, but I love this project, so I have to show you because I haven't gifted it yet. It's this crochet rainbow blanket, and I'm hoping that you can see because I cannot see. It's a baby blanket, and this is made of worsted acrylic yarn that I just picked a bunch of colors that I had in my stash. So I made this for friends of ours that just had a baby girl in October, and they had been trying for a while. So that's why I wanted to make them this rainbow blanket, rainbow baby blanket. What else? I think those are all my finished objects. Whips. I'll show you the socks that I'm currently working on. Oh gosh. Sorry, things are falling. Hold please. Okay, so these are living in this bag by the Woolen Frog. It's my Emotional Sport Chickens bag. I freaking love this bag. I mostly love the colors also, blue and pink, my favorite color combo. So this is West Yorkshire Spinners. Their Christmas yarn this year is called Mulled Wine, and it's beautiful. So these are socks for my mother-in-law. Every year I buy the West Yorkshire Spinners colorway, Christmas colorway of the year, and I make her socks because she loves my hand knit socks, so she's extremely knit worthy. So yeah, I'm just making some vanilla socks. I got to the heel flap earlier, that I'm just making a slip stitch heel flap as per usual. 64 stitches, 20 rounds 2x2, and this time I did 70. It's my first time doing 70 rounds for the leg. I decided to do 70 rounds because I wore a pair of my hand knit socks this weekend, or maybe last week, and it was 60 rounds, because that's like the number that everybody seems to make, 60 rounds. But I find them just a little too short. So I decided to do 70, and we'll see what she says. Yeah, so this is the first sock. So I'm almost halfway through the first sock. And I just love this yarn. It's so beautiful with the sparkle, and especially knowing that she's gonna love these, it just makes them even more fun to work on. So yeah, so another project that I've been working on a lot this year, instead of socks, I guess, is this cozy comfort throw. And I think this is the wrong side, so I will show you the right side. So this is being made with my Polka Dot Creek Canadian Yarn Dyers Advent from 2023, and it was the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation theme, which is my favorite Christmas movie. And so yeah, I decided to make a cozy comfort throw, and in January when I picked this back up, did I remove the stitch marker? Yes. I was like here, and so I've knit all of this since the beginning of the year. It's so fun, and I'm almost done. I think I have like 5 or 6 colors left to put in. And then I'll do an I-cord border, which I know I'm gonna hate myself for not doing like a built-in I-cord, but I didn't know that was a thing. So next time I make this blanket pattern, I will do like an I-cord as you go type of thing, which I've seen Elisa of 72 Stitches do. And I was like, that's so smart, I should have done that, but I didn't know it was a thing. So anyway, more to come on that, but yeah, I just love this. I love the blue and reds, and it's just, you know, perfection. So I'm really proud of the progress that I've made on this. Like, literally started like here in January, and I've knit all of this, and it's so fun because it's just garter stitch back and forth until you die, basically. Love it. My next whip, if you don't know me, I'm the frogging queen, okay? I hesitate to start big projects because they usually don't work out for me. I usually get, you know, pretty far into it, and then I realize like something's not working, I don't like it, and I ended up ripping it out. And so I love hoarding yarn, and I love yarn advents so much. But I'm hesitant to make anything with them because I want it to be special, and I want it to be perfect. So anyway, so last year I was collecting the Friends Club collection yarn thing from Polka Dot Creek. Polka Dot Creek every month had a Friends theme colored yarn, and I got all of them. They're sock sets. So I have, 12 full skeins with coordinating minis. And I decided I was going to make, it took me forever to decide. I was like, do I make socks? But I didn't want to make socks because I didn't want it to get worn, and I wanted to use either like as much of the yarn as possible or only a little bit of the yarn and do multiple projects with all the colors. So finally I decided to do the calico quilt shawl, and this is where I'm at. This is the wrong side yet again. So when I said I was the frogging queen, I got to the second row of this shawl. This is the first corner, and you keep going in triangles, and then eventually like it becomes a triangle, obviously, as you have seen in the picture. I got to the second row. I was either done or almost done the second row when I realized like something wasn't adding up. So basically I felt like I had too many stitches on these triangles here, and it wasn't even, like the colors were no longer connecting like in the corners like they're supposed to. So it's probably a user error, knitter error. I might have been distracted, and I might, have done too many decreases in some places and maybe not enough decreases in other places. So I ripped it all back. I ripped it out until this, because I think the triangle that I thought was too long was the triangle that comes after this one. So I measured the long sides of my triangles, and these three all match. They're all the same length, which is like 24.5 centimeters. And so now that I know how long they're supposed to be for my gauge, it's something to keep in mind as I keep going. I'm still showing you the wrong side. So yeah, I'm basically restarting. But it goes by pretty fast, and it doesn't use a lot of yarn. I actually did not measure, did not weigh my yarn before and after to see. Oh wait, maybe I did, and it's on my Ravelry project page. I think I did that. Anyway, it doesn't use a lot of yarn. So like these colorful ones are full skeins. I have full skeins of, but it barely uses any yarn. So I have almost a full skein left to do with it what I please. I'm thinking maybe another cozy comfort throw, because it's like an easy pattern and it's something that I can, keep forever basically. So anyway, we'll see. But this is a whip. If you don't understand the whip reference,
Let me have some of that Cool Whip. What'd you say? You can't have a pie without Cool Whip. Cool.
I'm sorry. I don't have anything else to say about this. Anyway, moving on. The next thing. Oh, my next whip. My next and last whip. I just cast it on last night, and I'm sorry for the crinkling. I brought the wrong bag. Wait a moment. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so I decided impulsively to cast on this, just like a long tube scarf. Basically, I've seen Crazy Sock Lady and Lisa 72 Stitches. They both made one earlier this year. They held their fingering weight yarn double though, so it was a DK weight. I'm just holding it single, so it's gonna be fingering weight scarf, but it's just gonna be a long tube. And I just want to use up some minis and some leftovers from socks that I've made, just kind of like a scrappy souvenir-ish scarf. And I don't have a lot of scarves, so it'll be super colorful, and I think it's going to be super cozy. I did not count the amount of stitches. I just pulled a long string and I did a long tail cast on until my whole needle was full, basically, and then I joined it in the round. And I'm just doing, knitting in the round, so it's stockinette stitch, and I don't have much left. These needle stoppers I think are from Création Art B. I believe I bought them a few years ago. Same thing with my little stitch marker here, which is a little Santa Claus and a little reindeer. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep going until I don't feel like it. So this is my bag of minis that are either like mini sets that I bought, or they were minis that came with a sock set. So it's just a bunch of random minis. Some I've used, some I have not. And then I also gathered, I also have this mini skein yarn bouquet from Polka Dot Creek. And this is called Ice Cream, and it's beautiful. They're 10 grams minis. I have not wound them up yet, but no rush for that. And then this is a bag of soft yarn leftovers. So I'm gonna mishmash all of this into a big tube scarf, and it's not gonna use up everything. I don't think so anyway. And I also don't necessarily want to have like all the colors the same width, like the same amount of rows for everything. I just want to go with the flow, which is, I'm usually not like that. I'm usually planning for my knitting. But anyway, so that's going to be fun. And the last thing, I have acquisitions. So, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. So when my local yarn store they posted on Instagram that they got the new color, I immediately ran over to purchase it. And while I was there, I had a look in their clearance bin, and they also had this one from West Yorkshire Spinners, which is Candy Cane, and it was on sale. And obviously it's also self-striping. It's green, red, and white. And so, fun fact, my mother-in-law is a twin. She's an identical twin. And whatever I buy for my mother-in-law, I have to get one for her twin too, because they have to have the same things, even though they're 65 years old. It's adorable. Anyway, so like I said, I make her a pair every year. Oh, I also wanted to chat about the fact that this isn't self-striping this year. So the last 3 years that I've made her socks, it's always been like a patterning stripe. But this year it's just like variegated, which I think it's fun to switch it up. West Yorkshire Spinners. But anyway, so this is self-striping. And I'm planning on making this a pair for her sister for Christmas socks, for her twin. I made her a pair of socks last year. She loves them. They weren't Christmas themed, but they both love Christmas, so I know she would probably like these. And the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm like, well, maybe I want Christmas socks out of this. Haven't decided, but this is an acquisition. That is the point of this video. And then this past weekend, did I even say the date when I started recording? I don't think so. It's November 24th. This past weekend, we were in a little village near-ish to us, which is called Perth, Ontario. And every year they have Christmas in Perth around this time. It's one day, and they have like wagon rides and Santa Claus and hot chocolate and a little market and all these fun things. And they have such cute little shops. We love to go. So they have a yarn shop, a local yarn store that I love supporting. And so this caught my eye. I had never seen this yarn before. And they had a sample knit up. Well, it's not even a sample. They had a whole pair of socks knit up in this yarn next to it, so I could see what it would end up like. And I've never seen anything like this for sock yarn. So I had to, obviously. My husband said I could only get one skein. Last time we went, I was allowed to get two. But I was only allowed to get one. So anyway, this is the Estelle Yarns Evolution Silk Sock. And it is 50% cotton, 28% superwash merino, 10% silk, and 12% nylon. So it's cool. It's so soft, but it's good for socks because of the nylon content. Made in Italy. And this is the colorway Sky. And it's just like marled magic beautifulness. And it's not self-striping, and it's I guess it's variegated, but like in the best way possible. Anyway, I'm so excited to make socks out of this. And the gift knitter, or the gift giver in me, saw this and was like, I'm gonna make gifts. I'm gonna make socks for my husband. Because I never think of myself. When I buy yarn, it's always for other people. But, you know, I have so much yarn. I always want to just make gift knitting everything. But anyway, we'll see. Obviously, I have not cast it on yet. And I just finished a pair of socks for him. So, I don't know. Anyway. And while I was there, I was so happy to see she had Knit Pro Zings. I cannot find these anywhere except on Amazon, and it has to be shipped from the UK. So you pay for shipping, and they're not expensive needles, but they are my favorite for knitting socks. 2.25 millimeter size 1, double pointed needles, and they're just the best. I can't explain it. For $8.79, it's better than anything else I've tried that was more expensive. Anyway, so she actually had a wall full of needles, and I saw that she had zings, but I didn't see the size ones because they're all different colors, all the different sizes. And I said, oh, do you have size 1 zings? And she's like, oh, usually, let me check in my little drawer. And she opens the drawer and she had some. So excited to have another set of these, because I've worn through a whole set. My OG sock knitting needles. I used them to the point where like the color was rubbing off and they were no longer slippery because I had just worn them out. And so I currently have 2 other sets. But one of the needles is crooked. It's a sad thing. So I wanted to have a spare one. That is so long-winded just to say I got another set of my favorite needles, but I'm sorry. You know, I'm a short story long kind of gal. Anyways, Um, Reading and watching really fast. I'm currently reading The River is Waiting by Wally Lamb. I am in a book club with my aunts and their friends, and this is my aunt's pick for this month. It is not easy to read because an accident happens in the beginning of the book and it involves a 2-year-old boy. And it's so well written that I can picture it exactly. And how old is my son, you ask? He's almost 2 years old. So I'm picturing him in the accident. And I had to ask my aunt, like, are we ever going to stop talking about the descriptive accident? Because if we aren't, I can't continue reading this. It's too hard. She was like, no, 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 we stop. It's very good. Continue. So about 30% through that. And then I just finished recently. Don't remember. Oh, I just finished Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. I was disappointed. I've read other books by her that I loved. I'll put my favorite one here. I don't remember the title off the top of my head. I can see the cover in my mind. But anyway, that was a 5-star read. Too Old for This is her newest release. It was like a 2.5 stars out of 5 for me. Not great. So yeah, that's my reading. Watching, I have been watching ER because it just showed up on Crave. And so I watched The Pit last winter when it came out. So good. And then I was like, this makes me want to watch ER because my mom used to watch ER when I was a child, but I've never watched it. And it suddenly appeared out of nowhere, all the seasons on Crave. So I'm watching that, and I'm also rewatching Friends for the upteenth time. At the end of season 7, just as a comfort show when I don't know what else to watch. I just put that on. So I think that's all I got for you today, and I'm hoping that I will record again soon. And in the meantime, happy knitting!